Picture this. You're sitting at a dinner table, surrounded by people you think you know. The food is delicious, the conversation is flowing, and everything seems normal. But then, out of nowhere, someone drops a bombshell that changes everything. That's exactly what happened to me when my in-laws invited me to dinner. I thought it would be a simple, casual evening, maybe a little awkward, sure, but nothing out of the ordinary. Oh, how wrong I was. What I saw that night left me speechless, questioning everything I thought I knew about family, secrets, and the lengths people will go to keep them hidden. So, grab a seat, because this is a story you won't want to miss. Before we dive into the chaos, let me set the stage. I've been married to my partner for about 2 years now, and like any relationship, it's had its ups and downs. But one thing that's always been a bit tricky is my relationship with my in-laws. They're nice enough, don't get me wrong, but there's always been this unspoken tension, like they're holding something back. I've tried to brush it off, chalking it up to the usual family dynamics. But this dinner changed everything. I've noticed only 98% of you who watch haven't subscribed. Come on, guys, show some love and support. Thanks a bunch to those who have already subscribed. It all started with a text. My mother-in-law, Linda, sent me a message out of the blue. We'd love to have you over for dinner this Friday. Just you. Now that last part, just you, struck me as odd. Why wasn't my spouse invited? When I asked, she simply said, "We think it's time we got to know you better." Okay, fair enough. Maybe they were trying to bridge the gap, to finally let me into their inner circle. I was flattered, even if a little nervous. Little did I know, this dinner would unravel secrets I never could have imagined. Friday rolled around, and I arrived at their house at 7 p.m. sharp. The moment I walked in, I could tell something was off. The house was eerily quiet, save for the soft hum of classical music playing in the background. The table was set for 3, with candles lit and a spread of food that looked like it belonged in a gourmet magazine. It was all so perfect, too perfect. Linda greeted me with a warm smile, but there was something in her eyes, a flicker of unease, maybe even guilt. My father-in-law, Robert, was his usual stoic self, offering a firm handshake and a curt nod. We made small talk as we sat down, but the air was thick with tension. It felt less like a dinner and more like an interrogation waiting to happen. The revelation. About halfway through the meal, Linda put down her fork and looked at me with an intensity that made my stomach drop. "There's something we need to tell you," she said, her voice trembling slightly. I froze, my mind racing. Was this about money? Did they not approve of my marriage? Or worse, was there some kind of family secret I wasn't prepared to hear? Robert cleared his throat and took over. "We've been keeping something from you, from everyone really, but we think it's time you knew." He reached into his pocket and pulled out an old weathered photograph, sliding it across the table toward me. I picked it up, my hands shaking, and what I saw made my blood run cold. It was a picture of my spouse, but not as I knew them. In the photo, they were much younger, standing next to someone who looked almost identical to them, a twin. My mind was spinning. What is this?" I stammered, looking up at them in confusion. Linda took a deep breath. "Your spouse has a twin, a sibling they've never told you about. We thought it was best to keep it hidden, but we can't anymore." The fallout. I wish I could say I handled the news gracefully, but the truth is I was in complete shock. My spouse had a twin? How could they have kept something like this from me? And why? My mind was flooded with questions, but before I could ask any of them, Linda dropped another bombshell. "There's more," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "The twin, they're not just a sibling. They're not well. They've been in a facility for years and we've been paying for their care. But now the facility is closing and we don't know what to do." I felt like the walls were closing in around me. This wasn't just a family secret. It was a life-altering revelation. My spouse had a twin who needed help, and I had no idea how to process any of it. The rest of the dinner was a blur. I barely remember saying goodbye or driving home. All I could think about was how this would change everything. The aftermath. When I got home, I confronted my spouse. At first, they denied it, but when I showed them the photo, they broke down. They told me everything about the twin, the facility, the guilt they'd been carrying for years. It was a lot to take in, but in a strange way, it brought us closer together. We decided, as a team, to figure out how to help their twin and navigate this new reality. The backstory of the twin. As my spouse opened up, they shared the heartbreaking story of their twin, Alex. Alex had been born with a rare neurological condition that caused severe developmental delays and behavioral challenges. When they were children, Alex's condition became too much for the family to handle at home. After countless sleepless nights, hospital visits, and emotional breakdowns, my in-laws made the difficult decision to place Alex in a specialized care facility. It was the hardest decision of our lives, Linda had said during dinner, her voice breaking. We wanted to keep Alex close, but we couldn't give them the care they needed. We thought it was best to keep it quiet, to protect Alex and our family from judgment. My spouse admitted they had been too young to fully understand the decision at the time, but as they grew older, they felt a deep sense of guilt. I always wondered if I could have done more, they said, tears streaming down their face. But every time I thought about bringing it up, I just froze. I didn't know how to tell you. The journey to the facility. A week after the dinner, my spouse and I decided to visit Alex at the facility. The drive there was tense, filled with a mix of anticipation and dread. When we arrived, the facility was nothing like I had imagined. It was a small, unassuming building nestled in a quiet neighborhood, surrounded by trees and a well-kept garden. Inside, the staff greeted us warmly, but I could sense the weight of the place, the stories it held, the lives it sheltered. When we finally met Alex, it was overwhelming. They looked so much like my spouse, but there was a fragility to them, a vulnerability that tugged at my heart. They didn't speak much, but their eyes told a story of their own, a story of loneliness, of longing, of a life lived in the shadows. As we spent time with Alex, I began to see them not as a secret or a burden, but as a person who deserved love, care, and a place in our family. It was a turning point for me and for my spouse. We knew we couldn't change the past, but we could shape the future. The resolution. In the months that followed, we worked tirelessly to find a new care solution for Alex. It wasn't easy. There were countless meetings with social workers, doctors, and care providers, but we were determined to do right by Alex. Eventually, we found a small group home that felt like the perfect fit. It was a place where Alex could thrive, surrounded by people who genuinely cared about their well-being. Bringing Alex into our lives wasn't without its challenges. There were moments of frustration, of doubt, of fear, but there were also moments of joy, like the first time Alex smiled at us, or the day they recognized my spouse and reached out to hold their hand. Those moments reminded us why we were doing this, why it mattered. Looking back, that dinner was a turning point in my life. It taught me that family is complicated, and sometimes the people we think we know best are hiding the biggest secrets. But it also showed me the power of honesty and the importance of facing the truth, no matter how difficult it may be. If you've ever been in a situation where everything you thought you knew was turned upside down, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a story like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.